Remind us why this is so important.
Well, think about this $500 billion semiconductor industry. And today, how it's so pervasive, semiconductors, in everything we do, run our businesses, educate our children. Everything we do is humans in engagement. It's just this pervasiveness of semiconductors that touches everything. It's the center of the world global economy. So you can understand when there are disruptions in that, how impactful it is throughout the world.
What would be different if more chip manufacturing was happening in the United States right now?
Look, I think the chip manufacturing in the U.S. is more about getting balance. This $500 billion industry that, oh, by the way, will double in the next 8 to 10 years. 48% of that semiconductor industry is product that comes through U.S. headquartered companies, but only 12% is manufactured in the U.S. So it's not only just to add more capacity that the world needs, but it's to make sure we add it in the U.S. to get supply chain security for the U.S., to get economic security, and to get national security out of more secure supply in the U.S.
When will supply meet demand? How far out is that?
Look, we have a very broad-based business. We serve almost every market segment. As I sit here today, we still don't have enough capacity and capability, even though we're investing, I'll talk about that in a minute, at a breakneck pace for 2022. If we're going to start getting a little bit more balance between supply and demand, it's probably out in 2023. That's the chair we see it from, and the customer engagements I have each and every day on what their demand looks like and our ability to meet that demand.
So what does next year look like? I mean, what sort of, talk to me about the ebbs and flows and the arcs that you see.
Yeah, look, I think the worst, I could argue the worst is behind us because it was such a big gap. And as the gap closes, it gets better, but it doesn't make it where you won't hear about this ever again. So hopefully we'll get more of this supply coming online. By the way, the semiconductor industry had an all-time high shipment in 2021. It's not like we're sitting here not doing more. It's just the complexity of what we do and how long it takes to add capacity is what creates this big lag. And right away, the billions of dollars it takes to add capacity.
Meantime, GlobalFoundries went public in the middle of all of this. How has the current climate impacted the business decisions that you're making? Obviously, it's clear we need more chips, we need more of them.
Yeah, look, we didn't go public for the sake of just being a public company. We went public because we had good uses for the proceeds. You know, we raised almost $2.9 billion of capital raised in that IPO. And, you know, better part of 50% of that is going into the capital deployment we're going to do to expand our capacity. Between 2021 and 2022 alone, we will spend $6.5 billion. And that will enable us, by the time we exit 2023, to be able to ship 1.6x more product to our customers compared to 2020.
So if Congress can't get this act done, what happens?
Well, look, I haven't thought that far ahead because I think they are going to get it done. I think the opportunity for this year is running short given the other things that Congress needs to get through in the Build Back Better and funding the government. But I think that's going to close by the end of the year because it needs to. And then in the Q1 is the real opportunity. This has broad bipartisan support. Everybody needs to do it. We just need to clear the decks so that becomes the focus of the government. And I really don't think there's an option where this doesn't happen, quite honestly.
And how would you say Europe's progress compares to the United States? Are they doing it better?
Hard for me to judge. I think it's a little bit more difficult there because there are many nations that have to come together, so the consensus building takes a little bit longer. But they have a record of being able to do this in the past, and we've enjoyed some of those partnership investments with the European government in our Dresden facility in Germany.